I bought this bottle expecting something like sweet cooking wine. As it turns out, it's a sweet liquid teriyaki shortcut. Can it replace honey in my kitchen?
Mirin is the secret ingredient that makes these beautiful glazes, but most of us just know mirin is that one ingredient in every stir-fry recipe that I just never have. It kind of looks like cooking wine, but it behaves more like a thin honey that went to culinary school.
I'm Chris, a medium-level cook with rare-level curiosity. This is Rarely Well Done.
Mirin contains sugar, alcohol, and amino acids, which means it can sweeten food, carry aroma, and help sauces come together. Before we get started, though, one quick clarification. Most bottles in American supermarkets are technically aji-mirin, which literally means mirin-style seasoning. Real mirin is fermented rice wine, but the imitation version still works perfectly well for cooking, which is good news for normal kitchens. It's also a good excuse to get out the shot glass for an initial taste.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of sweetness there. It's very syrupy. This is fantastic.
Today we're going to test 4 questions. Can mirin replace honey in glazes? Can it replace cooking wine in a pan sauce? Can it fix sauces that taste too salty? And can it add a quick glaze to vegetables? But first, chicken. Honey works beautifully in glazes, but it has 2 practical problems. It's thick and it burns easily. Mirin is much thinner, which means it spreads more evenly and reduces into glaze more predictably. Mirin contains sugars from fermented rice, which is part of what makes it taste like melted cake icing. As the liquid reduces, those sugars concentrate and begin forming a glossy lacquer. The alcohol also helps dissolve aroma compounds and distribute flavor, which is why mirin appears so often in Japanese glazes.
Man, I can't wait to try this. That looks so good. Oh yeah, that's great. The soy sauce flavor is there, and the sweetness from the mirin totally balances out. It's a perfect combination, honestly. It's just fantastic.
But can mirin work without soy sauce? Let's find out. We'll make some fresh chicken here and build up some burnt bits, or fond, on the pan. I didn't used to do this, but these days I'm getting fond of the technique. Haha. We'll deglaze the pan with mirin and add some butter for body. The result is a lovely, super easy chicken pan sauce. By the way, we could do this with wine to get some acidity, but mirin does this instead with sweetness.
Totally different direction from the soy, but really rich, obviously buttery. Just that creaminess there. Wow. Yeah, who needs honey?
Let's find out next if mirin can add a quick glaze to vegetables. First, I'm going to take some cut carrots and broccoli straight into my googly-eyed fryer. Then I'm going to take them back out because I forgot to oil and salt them first, which I personally prefer to do in a plastic bag so that it spreads more evenly. Then, like the amateur I am, I'm going to accidentally burn my broccoli to a crisp and throw those out, leaving me just the carrots. This is in part why the show is called Rarely Well Done and not Always Properly Prepared. On a rare occasion, things are done well, and rarely they're well done, if you get my drift.
I'm just going to pretend I meant to do that.
Roasted vegetables sometimes taste a little bitter or flat, especially as they get more of those flavorful burnt bits. A small splash of mirin adds sweetness and shine, which helps balance those flavors. I use too much here, of course. I'm batting 3 for 3.
Considering how a lot of this actually has burnt elements in it, this is surprisingly good. The mirin balances out that bitterness with that sweetness. There's a nice glazed texture on them because of the mirin.
So it can make a glaze and counteract bitterness. Well, how about salt? Well, this is a mixture of fish sauce, garlic, and chili.
Try the little taste. I'm almost scared of this. Whoa. Yeah. Incredibly salty, but we knew that because that much fish sauce, that's pretty much all that is. So we're going to add a little mirin. Still salty, but man, a lot mellower. It's just not near as harsh. It's that makes a big difference. Yeah, mirin totally can do that role where it takes care of the salt for you.
Sweetness counterbalances salt, which is why many sauces include both. Mirin just delivers that sweetness in a very cooperative form. If a sauce tastes too sharp or salty, a small amount of sweetness often fixes it. Mirin just happens to be a convenient way to add that. In fact, mirin turns out to be a surprisingly flexible ingredient for everyday cooking. Part sweetener, part cooking wine, part sauce chemistry, which is not a bad resume for one bottle. Also, mirin keeps a lot longer than cooking wine. Wine starts degrading pretty quickly after opening, but a bottle of mirin can live in your fridge for months without spoiling. If you'd like to experiment with mirin, I've linked the bottle in the description below. I like this particular brand because it helps when I'm sad. You know, like the saying, Kiko man when he's down. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Please don't unsubscribe.
I hope I've encouraged you to try something new. Thanks for watching.